And technically, what we're about to talk about is last week's music, anyways, too. So,
well, yeah,
when we had to kind of subside that, but let's talk Ka. Descendants of Cain. I'm gonna throw a song on, and we're gonna talk about this very lyrically dense record. So, Jalen, did you get a chance to listen to this?
Oh, several times.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're on the same.
I had it on loop for like when he dropped it. It was on YouTube. I was listening to it. Then he dropped it on streaming.
Word. Were you a Ka fan before this project?
I would. I don't want to say I was a fan. I definitely was like seeing his music everywhere, like the Orpheus thing, stuff like that. But I can't really say. Now I'm like I could say like official.
Yeah. I would say I'm in the exact same boat, actually. Like, have been increasingly aware of Ka and have been kind of informing myself on his recent projects. So the one that I, was aware of when it came out, and then over the past couple of years, like, I've been listening to it every now and again, was the, I forget exactly what it's called, but the Orpheus project. The Orpheus and the Sirens, or the it's under Hermit and the Recluse. In listening to this, I thought at first this was going to be the project I liked less than the Orpheus project, but I'm thinking I'm kind of sorely mistaken now with that. So, Trent, how much have you listened to that Orpheus project, or have you?
I've like skimmed it just after listening to this. But like the only project that I really like checked out other than this prior was the I think it's called Grief Pedigree from like 2012 or 13 or something. And I just knew of that album because like just through like trying to sample shit.
Yeah.
Like I just came across people like tracks that sampled other tracks from that album, and so I'm not super familiar with Ka, but then everyone started freaking out about it and obligatory, so I went and listened to this, and then I skimmed the Orpheus shit, so I haven't been like super familiar with that.
Cool, man. Well, what do you think about this project on its face?
Descendants?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like it's great. I put it on at work and it just bummed everybody out. Everyone was like, yo, what is this? I was like, I'm sorry. If it's not good, I'll turn it off. They're like, no, it's great, but it's just a fucking bummer. Like, but I think it's awesome. I mean, like, there's not a lot of room in, like, in a casual hip-hop listener's time in his day to, like, check out this kind of music. But I think that it's super valuable to like understanding other artists that might be like tangibly related to Ka.
Yeah.
Like Rock Marciano is like the one that comes to mind. Obviously, he's on like every one of his projects, and I feel like enough people know Rock, but like I feel like you get more out of Rock Marciano if you listen to Ka. Like I feel like there's a give and take there.
And
so,
the Rock Marciano verse that's on this album is not your everyday Rock Marciano verse.
Oh, dude, it's nasty.
I think that's definitely worth pointing out that for someone who has a lot of really amazing verses, this one took it to a different level. I didn't know that he was gonna go introspective like that. I really appreciated for this project how short it is. Like, did you realize that this is just a 36-minute little thing, like, or 33 minutes even? This album's like 6 minutes longer than Kids See Ghosts.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that because it's so dense. But like in like a real, it's so, I hate to like use the word dense because I feel like people will like automatically assume that to be like kind of a knock on something. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, it's hard to get through. But no, it's like dense in like it's a kind of album makes you want to like sit down and like listen to what the fuck they're saying. Like,
and you don't. I was totally under the impression that we were over 40 minutes or 45 minutes. We were trending up towards an hour of music and it's really only 33 minutes. So that's interesting because we have that critique for some albums where they're short albums that feel like long albums, but somehow this is a short album that in a great way feels like a longer album. And I would say the same thing, actually, now that I just randomly brought up Kids See Ghosts. But I would say the same thing at the time when I first heard Kids See Ghosts was when I was finished. I was like, damn, that was only 26 minutes or something like that. Like, you know, it felt like they packed a lot in there. But yeah, I think it's like the word mileage or just like the amount of like, I mean, dude, he doesn't waste a fucking dot of ink, I feel like, on this.
Right, and it's not like he's like not trying to like bring it down a notch or anything, but it's not like it's the most like dynamic like flow or like cadence or anything. Like he's pretty much doing the same thing on every track.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, I mean, it's good to use that the mythology analogy, because if you're reading a book like the Odyssey, or you're reading a book like the Iliad or something, it's like if you're interested in that, it hooks you not because it's like the most dynamic, amazing writing of all time, but because the story there is so dynamic and like plentiful and juicy that like it makes you want to flip the page. And those are in prose. Another like weird correlation is those are all in prose, which have a, you know, they're at a heartbeat tempo, and then this thing is like in its own kind of prose in a way. There's a lot of like cool nuances in this project that it's going to be hard to kind of convince more people to listen to it, but I think it's worth it, man.
Yeah, it's got like a real particular, like I don't feel like I could just, as good as it is, I don't really feel like I could just send it to people that don't already hear this kind of music anyways, you know, like the Cause of Rock Marcianos, or even like a West Side Gun or something like that. And even if you like West Side Gun, you know, I don't think that guarantees that you're going to like this. Like this is completely different.
This is like more so music you listen on your own time. Yeah. With people. But I mean, you can still put it on and see who's interested.
Yeah, I think there's some... I'm kind of actually torn between that, because I feel like there are some parts of this album where it's really just really pretty, really beautiful. Like I think this song and the sample, I think the samples on this project, there's a few of them that's like, dude, I could probably put this on for most people and they would think this is cool. But as far as like, trying to show someone the entire project or get them into Ka or something, you know, I don't really necessarily feel that way. I feel like, and I haven't listened to all the Ka projects, but I feel like this is probably that one that it would be a little bit easier to turn people onto than, say, Honor Killed the Samurai or Grief Pedigree. I didn't know about his whole fire, like, I didn't know about this whole story about him being a fire chief in New York. I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't know that.
Did you catch what we were what Nation was saying in the chat?
Yeah, that he was like the Times or something wrote some shit about him like being like anti-cop, like firefighter.
Being an
anti-cop, like, shut up, bro. It don't matter.
Firefighter, rapper.
Yeah.
Apparently Ka is or was at one time a firefighter in New York that had like worked to being the chief of the fire chief. So and I guess he had started rapping, you know, in the 2000s up until a point that he stopped, and then, you know, started this line of work. And then it wasn't until he came back on a feature on a Jizza album, Pro Tools, 2008, that this guy started to come back and started making projects again. And so Ironworks comes out in 2011, Grief Pedigree in 2012, 13, Knight's Gambit, Honor Killed the Samurai in 2016. I guess during this whole time, he's been doing both. And you would be right to assume that he's not really like pro cops or anything like that.
Yeah.
You could tell that by the content of his music. But I thought that was interesting. I mean, clearly clearly very intelligent and talented person and writer that you're hearing here. So that just kind of made me appreciate this again on another like 360 level. Like, okay, whoa, there's this whole other story about this person that doesn't even make its way into this very interesting album that he put out. But again, surprised at the fact that all these songs are under 4 minutes. You know, every one of these songs is 2 to 3 minutes long. But again, you know, just like the album, everything just feels kind of packed in. Again, he really makes good use of his words. And then the samples, you know, while they are great, they're pretty straightforward and simple.
Well, yeah, I mean, he produced the whole thing himself too, which I just like. I like when an artist puts so much effort into both sides of that craft, where it's like clearly like he's got bars, like there's no like, and you just like you don't even really have to like dig down and listen to what he's saying to know he's saying something important. But like the samples too, they're not like anything where you'd be like, oh shit, like that was crazy, like that flip was crazy. But they do just enough to give him like a platform to say what he's saying.
Yeah.
That I mean, it's honestly like one of the most balanced. Like, it's hard to like I said, it's gonna be hard to get people to listen to it. But when you do listen to it, it's so easy to listen to.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
the thing I
easy,
love
like,
about it. I can turn it on and have it on.
Yeah.